Palestinian authorities say Israeli attacks have killed at least 17,400 children in Gaza since October last year. That's one child killed every half an hour, every 30 minutes. Thousands more have been injured and are in need of support. Aid agencies say around 50,000 children younger than 5 will need urgent treatment for malnutrition by the end of the year. And at least 658,000 children have been out of school since the start of the war. That was 13 months ago, which means they're missing out on a second year of education. The number of unprotected orphans in Gaza ranges between 17 and 18,000. Many are on their own without family members. And aid agencies say that every day, 10 children lose one or both of their legs. Thousands have lost limbs in Israeli bombardment. Let's take this on. We can speak to Rosalia Bollen, who's a communication specialist at UNICEF, joins us now from Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. Rosalia, it's good to talk to you just about this terrible story. You know, we were talking about the dreadful plight that children are in Gaza after just 1 month of war, and now it's more than a whole year on, and the situation is, well, it's almost beyond words, isn't it?
It is absolutely inconceivable that over a year into this war, the situation for children in Gaza appears to get only worse and worse. When we say that Gaza is not safe, we don't mean that just literally. We're not just talking about the bombs and the bullets that kill children and their families. We're also talking about the living conditions that pose a direct risk to the lives of children in Gaza. We're talking about the lack of access to healthcare, which is effectively a death sentence for many severely ill children and severely wounded children. I met one of those last month in Nasser Hospital, an 11-year-old boy with leukemia. We just learned a couple of days ago that he has passed because the doctors in Nasser Hospital are unable to give this boy the care that he needs. So it's not just about the bombs and the bullets, it's about the living conditions or the lack thereof. It's cold in Gaza, it's rainy, it's windy, there's no adequate shelter, there's no access to sufficient nutritious food, there's a high prevalence of diseases, there's sewage, there's contaminated water. Children don't have warm clothes, they don't have shoes, they walk around the sewage, there's debris shattered everywhere. So it is a highly dangerous environment for children in Gaza in every regard.
Indeed, and that statistic that one child is killed every 30 minutes, every half an hour is just so shocking, isn't it? Hundreds more, of course, still missing, if not thousands more missing under the rubble. What about the trauma of all this for those children that are alive? The impact mentally on them of the whole loss that they've witnessed and the violence that they've witnessed and the bereavement that they suffer?
As you can very well imagine, all children in Gaza are deeply traumatized. Already before the war, UNICEF estimated that about 500,000 children in Gaza was in urgent need of psychosocial support, of mental health support. But now, with the onset and the continuation of this war, our estimates is that all children in Gaza urgently need that type of mental health support. Children have difficulties sleeping at night. They have lots of fear. The moment they hear the sound of drones or planes flying over, they flee inside their shelters. They're absolutely terrified just by the mere sound of a plane. And there's also, you mentioned over 17,000 children that are unaccompanied or separated. And for those children, the situation is even worse. They don't have any caregiver who can comfort them. So this is a deeply, deeply worrying issue.
From your personal perspective, Rosalia, as you look around you, what is it that strikes you most about the plight of the children in Gaza?
What strikes me most about the plight of children in Gaza is really how multi-dimensional it is. Just to give you one example, close to the UNICEF base in Al-Mawasi, Rafah, where I stay, right outside, there are tents as far as the eye stretches. And I've met a girl who is turning 13 today. Her name is Layan. Today is her birthday. The way I met her is that she was sitting outside our base and she was reading underneath the security lights that surrounded our base. I went up and I met with her. She brought me to her tent. In her tent, there is no lights. So for her to be able to read and to have access to some sort of informal learning, she's not able to do that inside her tent where it's too dark. Inside the tent, it's also very, very cold. She has to huddle together with her two baby brothers at night to try to stay warm. So she's deprived of adequate shelter. And Layan got injured in May this year. She has a bullet, a stray bullet that is lodged in her ribcage. There was surgery performed on her twice, but the doctors here in Gaza could not remove the bullet. And so the bullet is still lodged in her body, causing her a lot of pain, and she's been waiting. She's on a wait list for medical evacuation to get out of Gaza. So she's denied healthcare, she's denied appropriate shelter, she's denied the right to education. And on top of all of that, it's cold and there is no proper, sufficiently diverse diet for children in Gaza.
And I guess also as you look around, you wonder where these children can find any hope amidst all of this, how they can look to the future with any sense of, what they can grow up to be.
Absolutely, as I just told you earlier, if anything, it seems that the situation is getting worse and worse by the day here in Gaza. It's been over a year that we're into this war, and winter has now really started here. It's children who bear the brunt of this war. Children did not start this war, but they are paying the highest price for it, and they are also unable to end this war.
Yeah, it's a terrible litany of pain and tragedy. Rosalia, we do appreciate your time and telling us about the plight of children in Gaza. Rosalia Bollen from UNICEF, thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.